Hello guys, my name is Desmond and I welcome you to my lesson for today where we'll be looking at your mathematics. Obviously, I did indicate that in today's lesson we'll be looking at corrections, and once we are done tomorrow we continue with the chapter that we've already started, being number pattern. So ladies and gentlemen, please do allow me to say it is very much important that I say it is very, very much important, because what I'm about to say is massively, massively, massive. Hey, massively important, ladies and gentlemen, that I say a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. Lindy Way, by so saying, please, honorable member, please, 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 Denny, please do make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn something new. Massively important, ladies. So I did send some question papers in the group, which is a test that you guys wrote on Saturday. So we'll be doing the corrections of that test. Actually, it's two tests because one is for grade 12 and one is for grade 11. So without any waste of time, I do welcome our new learners who are attending my lesson for the very first time today. So just in case, if you want to ask a question, there's a button where you can unmute and ask a question. But otherwise, if there are no questions, you just need to make sure that your mic remains muted. So what I'm going to be doing is just to show you how you solve these exam questions. For the last time, can someone just confirm if all is clear there, if you can clearly hear me, and if you can see that question that I'm about to solve in the group?
Okay, sir.
And that question is there in the group. You're able to confirm that, isn't it? Yes, I can see that question. It is there. Let's now work it out. If you guys remember, I did say mathematically, the moment you start seeing the brackets, you need to break those. So let's see. That means you're going to say that by that, that by that. Most importantly, the main question says solve 4x. So let's see, when you say that times that, you are obviously getting x squared. When you say that by that, you're getting a negative 1x, which is equals to 30. Remember, the moment you start seeing a power of 2, it means you need to rewrite it in the standard form. How does it look like when it's written in the standard form? That means it has to be ax squared plus bx. You need to transpose. It changes a sign. It becomes negative 30, which is equivalent to 0. So now you need to factorize that. Here comes a question. So what two numbers when multiplied together will give you 30? I think it's 6 and 5. Yes, 6 and 5 when multiplied together will give you 30. Remember, I said the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. So for you to have negative 30, that's if you multiply a negative 6 by a negative, a positive 5. That gives you negative 30. So someone who's new, you might wonder, where do I know all of those? I did explain in the beginning of our lesson. So just in case if you missed all of that, I've recorded all those lessons. They are posted in a group. If you are not in that group, just make sure to inbox me after this lesson so that you can catch up. So once you catch up, you will fully understand what I mean by what I've just done over there. Most importantly, this question was allocated 3 marks. So if you got this question, then it means you are very much closer to being ready for your final examination. So let me quickly let you know exactly where you score your marks. Most importantly, for you to rewrite that in the standard form, examiner is going to give you a mark there. And most importantly, factorization, it's always given some marks. For both of these answers, I'm also going to give you a mark. So that's how you score yourself 3 marks for that question. So now, before I move on to the next question, anyone who's got a question, Bantibagiti? I doubt you guys will have a question because that was a very easy question. I noticed most of you guys got it correct. So remember, guys, just in case if you are also not able to derive a question, you will need to catch up on my previous lessons, and that's when everything is going to make sense. If it still doesn't, on my next lesson, you have an opportunity to say, I was watching this lesson, this is the problem that you were working, and I do not understand wat gaan aan. Then I'm going to explain all of that. So now let's move on to the next question. What is it? Decimal places. Okay, the next question, which is allocated for marks. Remember, guys, I'm only moving a bit faster on questions that I know that you already know, which are easier. I will take my time when it comes to questions which are a bit tricky. But for everyone who started with my lessons, one thing for sure, it is very much easier for them to work out those. Most importantly, yesterday we were doing corrections for grade 10. So just in case if you're in grade 10, remember, it was indicated in the message that it is optional for you to attend just to be exposed to the direction in which you are heading. But most importantly, someone who's joining my lessons for the very first time today, this is just for you to see how we do lessons. Okay, so now let's see. The moment you start seeing that, it serves as a reminder that you need to take out your tools. Let's see, there it's a formula which is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, all of that divided by 2a. So that means you need to know this formula by heart. Although during your final exams, it will be given to you, but it is much easier when you know it by heart. So let's see. Obviously, this is your A value, this is your B value, this is your C value. Every number in maths, it goes with a sign. Every number in maths, it goes with a sign. And it is only a sign of a plus or a minus. So if a minus is not there, a plus is not there, just know it is there as an invisible positive. So let's now substitute. So that means in this case, you need to substitute into that formula. So you have a negative from the original formula. Your B is negative 5. You still say plus or minus B. It is your negative 5 minus 4. What is your A? That is 3. What is your C? That is positive 1. All of that divided by 2. What is your A? Is 3. So once you have substituted, I'm pretty much sure that you will score a mark for correct substitution. But most importantly, you then now need to punch all of that on your calculator, starting with a positive sign. So that's where you separate it. You're going to have your first answer there as a fraction, and then you say, or your x, it is equals to, you update to a negative, then you get your answer. So as always, as I punch, also punch from your side so that in case if I make a mistake, you are able to correct me. So starting with a positive, we are having a minus 4. What is our A? No, our A is 3. Our C is 1 over 2 into A being 3. So this is what I'm getting when I start with a positive sign there. 5 plus square root of 13 over 6. Ayanda, remember to mute your mic, honorable member. I wonder what would have happened in case if the mic is muted, then all of a sudden It is an okay. So let's see. Now you need to update that on your calculator from being positive to being negative or minus. Then this is what I'm getting now. That over that. So I can just convert that to a decimal. Let's see what it becomes. I'm getting 0.2. Remember, guys, they said correct to one decimal place, and they've written that in capital letters, just so that if you round it to 2, they're going to give you a very big 0 because they've written instructions in big letters. So let's see, that means we are having 1.4. Anyone to confirm if you also got the same answers that I got, honorable members?
Yes, sir.
Is it everyone who got the same answer?
Four into I get to make it 2 or 3.
Mogai.
Negative 5. Negative into negative 5.
Okay. Maybe let me say this one is our A, it's positive 3. This is our B, it's negative 5. This is our C, it's positive 1. So for you to know what to substitute there, you get those values there. So if you are able to see all of that, you might need to momentarily forget about that. Then you substitute into that formula by yourself and you check. Okay, so everyone is saying we got the same answers, isn't it? Thanks, Shua. Okay, this is where, Yebo, is it a question coming through? Matapel, Cohen. I thought I had a question coming through, but it's fine. This is what I'm going to say, Bantibakit. Is it a question?
Yes, I can't find the answer, even if I'm punching the numbers on the calculator.
Okay. What did you punch? Just say what you have punched. I'll just be listening.
I have said negative into negative 5 plus root negative 5 squared minus 4 into 2 brackets in 1 brackets over 2 into 3. I've got 5 minus 17 over 6.
Okay, so this is a not too honorable member. Let me just write it so that is clear. This is negative 4a. What is our a? Our a is 3 over there. So your a is equals to 3, your b equals negative 5, your c equals negative 1. So your mistake was there. You substituted 2, whereas it's supposed to be 3. So this is where the 3 comes from. So everything that you substitute into that formula, it comes from there. So I was about to say, let's see. I'm telling you guys, for correct substitution, I'm going to give you a mark. So that means in your case, honorable member, you are not going to get it correctly because you made a mistake there. Just be aware of that. So again, where else do we give you a mark? So for 1, 2, we are also going to give you a mark. And then lastly, for your x values, I'm going to give you a mark. So just make sure that where I'm putting marks, you put marks on your script, or otherwise wrong. So for those of you guys who did not tell me how much you got out of the total, that's how I'm able to know that it's either you did not attend a lesson for the corrections, or you did not write the test at all. So just make sure that in case if you couldn't attend previous corrections, you catch up. So now we are now moving on to the next question. Remember, guys, we are no longer on this chapter. we are just here because we are doing corrections. I did teach everyone on how to approach equations, expressions, and also what is it? Inequality. So this is what we're looking for. What we're looking at, an inequality. What makes a math problem to be an inequality? It is because of that sign, which could be less than, greater than, less than or is equals to, greater than or is. The moment you start seeing this, you know you're dealing with an inequality. Because of that, then it makes it a quadratic inequality. So in this case, honorable members, I noticed someone took everything to the left. You can also do that, but this is what I like doing. I like having everything on the left and then equate, not necessarily equate, but have 0 on the right. So that means I'm going to take this and transpose. So that means I'm going to have negative 9 x squared. This is an invisible plus, which is plus 15 x minus 4. Then this is less than 0. So now you might realize that this is actually not in the standard form. And what makes it not to be in the standard form? It's because of that negative over there. So you need to get rid of that negative, meaning you end up having a positive 9x squared. This is what you do. You just change the signs of everything on that math problem. So can you see? If it's positive, you write negative. If it's negative, you write positive. So here, it's negative. I'm writing positive. Here, positive. I'm writing negative. Let's see. Hey, negative. I'm writing positive. Bantu bakiti. This thing, it's a sign. It's a sign. So I said you change every sign. So that means it is also going to change. Can you see where it's facing? It now changes to be that. And then from there, you are having 0. So 0, whether you write it as positive 0 or negative 0, it remains as 0. So you can now try to factorize that problem. So can you guys see that if you do not have your tools in order, you might not be able to quickly factorize that. Let's see. So obviously, you know that you are going to have something similar to that. So let's see. Here you are having a number. So it might be a little bit tricky to factorize, but I'm telling you, this is what you use mahona tjohle. Lento lesiyibiza ukuthi ikhona konke. I'm not sure if mahona tjohle in Zulu is ukhona konke, but isenza athini insimbi ya yonke insimbi iyawasha, something of that nature. Let's see. I'm sure you guys are not listening to me, but punching all of that. I'm just repeating what I've done on the previous question. So negative 4, what is A? A is 9. What is C? C is 4 over 2. That is A as 9. Can you see? I'm getting 15 over 2. So I know very well that 15 over 2, the denominator will be attached to x, and then 15, which is the numerator, will be written there. And because on the calculator you're getting it as a positive, inside the brackets you write it as a negative. So now you are going, hey, no. I've missed something there. I've missed something there. So it's more like I've punched everything on the formula, but where it says plus or minus, I did not punch a plus. So let me punch a plus. Now I'm getting correct values. I'm sure there's honorable member who noticed my mistake. Yebo. Someone is saying something, and I suspect they noticed my mistake. I'm just not sure if my assumption is correct there. Is there someone saying something? I had someone calling my name. Okay, I'll just continue to explain. So when you punch on that formula of negative b plus or minus square root of b squared whatever over 2a, that formula that I said you must know it by heart. When you punch this being your a, this being your b, this being your c, you get a fraction which is 4 over 3. And I've just said this one, it is the one that is attached to x, and then this one, you write it there. If the sign is positive, inside you write it as negative. Then you go and update on your calculator, you put a negative or a minus there. Then you get 1 over 3. So what I said was that this one at the bottom, it is the one that is attached to x. The one at the top, you write it there. If the sign is positive, there you write it as negative. So that's how you quickly factorize any maths problem or a quadratic problem. So now you find what we call critical values. What are the critical values? Is those final answers that you got on your calculator. So obviously, this is where you are allowed to say x is equals to, the first one you can say it's equals to positive 1 over 3. So it's more like you take that, you equate it to 0, then you solve for x, which ends up being 1 over 3, and then you say x it's equals to, you solve that one, transpose, it becomes positive 4, you divide by 3, it ends up being that. Remember guys, someone who's attending my lesson for the very first time, I think I'm moving a bit faster, but this is the pace at which everyone who started with me is. So for you to also get to this pace, you need to catch up on my previous lessons. They are there in the 2023 test and videos. That's where you get all the recorded lessons. So I'm just trying to move as fast as possible to give you guys corrections so that we complete these corrections today, and then tomorrow we continue with what I've started, which is number pattern. So let's see. These are why do you need the critical values? You need to represent them on a number line. So remember, I said if it's just less than or if it's just greater than, it is the unshaded 0 or an empty 0. And I said if it's greater than, you will have arrows pointing towards the outside. So remember, I said you need the critical values to represent them there and there, and you start with a smaller value. The question is, between these two values, which one is small? Is this one small or is that one small? Which one is small between these two? How do you know? If you want to know, punch this on a calculator, get it as a decimal. I think you get 0.33. Compared with this will be 1 point something. So that's how you know this is the one which is smaller and this is the one which is bigger. That is why you start with a smaller one and then that. So because it is a greater than they, you represent your answer by saying x, you use that arrow as it is, it's pointing in that direction, and then you just write that the critical value there. You also do the same on this side. Remember, in between you can just say or. Let's see, it's x. Can you see that sign? You take it as it is and then you write that as it is. That's how you simply and easily work out that problem. So let's see, where exactly do you score marks? I'm telling you guys, for you to correctly factorize that, you can see that at all the times you'll be given marks for correct factorization. You will always be given marks for that, and also for representing this, or otherwise for the critical values, we're just going to give you some marks, and most importantly, for your correct values, I think you also deserve some marks. So that's how you score yourself 4 marks for that question. Any question before I move on to the next problem?
Mister, so let's say they ask this question in the test. So is it
Yeah.
a must hore rengwale or?
Or it's not like it's allocated a mark, and again, it's not like if you don't have it, they will just deliberately give you wrong. The reason why you say or is because what we call a quadratic equation or a quadratic inequality, if you remember, I did say this two, it means you're going to have two possible answers. So the reason why you say or is because this is the first possible answer, or even this one, it is the possible answer. So the or in between is just for you to show that you actually come from good hands and you understand fully what you are doing. So if it was to the power of 3 there, you're going to have 3 answers. So that means you're going to say, this is the first possible answer, or this one, or this one. So for me personally, I used to say and. Why and instead of or is because both of these are answers. So sometimes if it's an equation, you might find that, especially when you have that question of square root, you'll find that it's only one answer which is correct. So that is where you need to say either you say or you say and, but in the end you need to specify to say this is the one which is not applicable. You might need to catch up for that information, but even if it comes again, I will re-explain. Most importantly, Mbali, I'm not doing this lesson for for the last time. I know you missed it, but towards exams, I'll still redo everything. I just want to make sure that before June, before May, we are done completely with mathematics so that you guys are ready for your June exams, because they are going to cover the whole syllabus. If we can cover that, then from June up until November, we'll just be doing revision. You guys will be 100% ready for your final. I'm already smelling some distinctions. I'm just hoping that you guys will take this lesson seriously and never miss any upcoming lessons. You shouldn't worry that much if you miss a lesson, but you need to start worrying if you don't catch it up. You could miss it for some other important reasons, but please do make some time and then catch up. Did I answer you, honorable member? I think it was Mbali who was asking that question. Does it now make sense where the or is coming from, a honorable member?
Yes, say I understand.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. So now we are on a question where they say solve simultaneously for x and y in the following equations. So when they say solve simultaneously for x and y, it means Bantibagiti, give the x values and the y values. Very, very much important there. Some learners, they only give the values of x and forget the y values. That's how they lose marks. So now this is a linear equation. This is a quadratic equation. What makes it to be a linear? Because of it not having a power of 2. This one, it has a power of 2. It makes it a quadratic equation because of an equal sign. So I did say that you derive equation 3 based on the simplest equation between those two. And normally, the simplest equation is a linear. So you then need to decide, what are you going to make the subject of the formula. It's easier if you make x. You will see why. If you say x, it's equals to, obviously it's going to be a 3, and then you take that to the other side, it becomes positive y. So I think because everything is positive, it is much easier if we just say positive plus 3, positive y plus 3. Because when it's written like that, when we do multiply that by that, I think it's easier. So maybe let me just say positive y plus 3, and that is our equation number 3, where you take equation number 3 and substitute it into equation number 2. So let's see. What does it mean when it says equation 3 in? It simply means that where you see x, substitute all of that, most importantly inside the bracket, so that it's easier. So let's see. This is where we see x. Can you see x? And then it has a squared there. So minus, where else do we see x is there? So let's maybe first write that y, and then we can say y plus 3. Just make sure that I'm copying everything correctly, Bantu Bagiti, so that I lead you guys to the green part. Okay, let's see. That 2, it means 2 of the same thing. Very, very much important, lady. 2 means 2 of exactly the same thing. Okay, so now you say that times that, what do you get? You get negative y squared. That times that, it gives you negative 3. Be careful, negative 3y. Most importantly, multiply a negative sign and a positive sign. That's why I'm having a negative there. So now, this you cannot do anything to that. You just write it as it is. Also, that negative 7, you just write it as it is. Remember, Lindy, wait. I did say every time where you see brackets in maths, that's why you start. So that by that, that by that. What are we? Y squared, that by that, it is plus 3y. That by that, that by that, we are having 3. That, what is that? That is 9. 3 by 3, it's 9. So we're having minus y squared, which is that, minus 3y, which is that, minus 2y squared, which is that, minus 7, all equals to 0. So it seems like we've got some like terms, Bantu Bagiti. But this one, I think it cancels with that one. So let's maybe cancel it out and maybe try to rewrite that in the standard form. So that means we're having negative 2y squared. Where are the other like terms? I think that 3y, it minuses with that 3. So that means this can cancel with that. So I'm now having that being 3y, which is positive 3y. Where are the numbers? Can you see? I'm having 9 there, minus 7. What is that? Is it not 2? 7, 8, 9. Yes, it's 2 and it's a positive 2. So now I need to rewrite that in the standard form, meaning I need to remove that negative. So you can just change the sign of every term, just like I've explained previously. I think I've gone far without checking if I haven't done any mistakes. Is there anyone, honorable member, who is lost there? Or are we still together? Pantubagiti. Are you also getting the same thing from your side? Because I'm pretty much sure that you guys did. Some of you got this question correct. So just want to check if we are all on the same page there. No response. I suppose all is clear. So now, what do you do? Obviously, you then need to factorize. What are we having there? So when you factorize, you still do the same thing, unless if there's someone who's done with factor. Negative, let's see, negative 3 square root of negative 3 squared. What is b? B is 2 negative minus 4ac. C is negative 2. I'm going to the bottom, I'm going to have 2a, a being that. So I'm getting 2. So that means I'm going to have y and also the opposite sign being that. I'm going to go and change the sign and put a minus there. I'm getting negative 1 over 2. So the 2, it is attached to y, and then I write it with the opposite sign. I'm having that. So that means this is how you factorize that using a quadratic formula. So obviously you have your answers from your calculator there. You know that this one will end up being equals to negative 1 over 2 because you equate it to 0, then solve y. This is where you say or, and then you are having y, which is equals to, what is it, positive 2. So can you see, in this case, we already got the y values, but we need the x values. That's where equation number 3 comes in. So you are saying x, it's equals to, what is y? It's negative 1 over 2 plus 3. You're just substituting there where you see y. What is that? I think 3 minus half is 2.5, and 2.5, I think it's 5 over 2. And then this one, you are going to say x is equals to 2 plus 3, which is equals to what? That is 5. Yes. So I think that's how you work out that problem. I'm not sure if there's someone who's got some questions there, but this is where you score your marks. Let's see. For correct substitution, I'm going to give you a mark. For you to write that in the standard form, I'm going to give you a mark. As always, correct factorization, I'm going to give you your marks there. And most importantly,
So,
for your final answers, I'm
so,
going to give you marks. Yaboo.
so how do you get the factors of 1 and negative 2?
Let me firstly confirm who is speaking there. You might find that you need to... who's speaking?
Tandy.
Tandy. Let me see. Tandy, do you remember that formula of a quadratic equation? Do you still remember that formula?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is the formula that you use to find the factors. So you substitute on that formula this as your A, this as your B, this as your C. Then when you say it's equals to, one answer is going to give you 2, and then the other is going to give you negative 1 over 2. So you use those to write them in there as the factors. So that's where you got those factors. So for you to understand it better, firstly, when you get a chance, punch that on a calculator on that formula, and then from there, you will then find those final answers. Then you write them in reverse into factors. But otherwise, if you still find it difficult, Tando, there's a lesson where I explain this one clearly. Just send me an inbox to request a lesson where I explain a factorization. Then I'll forward it to you so that we don't fall behind on corrections. But are you satisfied there, the Matandos? Do you now know where those values are coming from?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 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 okay. So now, let me remove all of that and come to this question, which is, in most cases, tricky. Let's see. We are having 10 to the exponent 2009. All of that. Wait. I need to make sure that I'm copying that correctly. Here, square root of that, and then you are also having 10 to 2011 minus square root of 10 to 2007. Sure. This question is allocated how many marks? 3 marks. It's given 3 marks, and then they want you to do what? Calculate the exact value of, show all calculations. Yo. Wait, did I copy that correctly, Bantu Bakiti?
Yes.
I think I did.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I think I did copy that correctly. Okay, this is what I would try to do. I would try to just somehow have the same powers inside those brackets. You will notice that I can maybe let me try to make everything to the power of 2009. It's either you make it to 2007 or 2011, but let me just try and make it that. So that means here I will need to somehow break down that. How can I break it down? What if I say 10 to the exponent 2009 multiplied by 10 to the exponent what? What is it going to be such that it takes, I think, 2. If you remember when we started with our lesson, I did say there's a law which says when the bases are the same, you add the exponents. Meaning, if you add that to 2, it takes you back to 2011. So maybe let's try do the same there. Bantu bagiti. Are you guys sure that if we say 10 to the exponent 2009 multiplied by 10 to the exponent something, what can that something be so that it takes us to 2000? What if I say minus 2? Why minus 2? Because I know when you have the same basis, you combine the powers. So that means 2009 minus 2, it takes me back to that. So that's how you make the powers to be the same, or you somehow manipulate those to get to where you want to be. If you remember, there is that law which says if you have square root of a multiplying y, this is the same as square root of a multiplied by square root of y. I'm going to apply the same principle here. So that means this is the square root of 2009. Also, it is the square root of that. So that means this is also the square root of that, square root of that. So I'm only doing that because I notice I'm running out of space. But now, what do? I'm not sure if you guys are able to notice a common factor there, because here we have 10 to the exponent 2009, all of that divided by. What if I take out square root of 10 to the exponent 2009 as a common factor? That means I'm only going to be having a square root of what? I think is 10 to the exponent 2 minus, which is that minus. Then I'm just going to have square root of 10 to the exponent negative 2. But wait, before I go deeper, am I not losing you guys there? Are you sure you guys are not lost there? Carol, akutimage mol. Sure, I'm failing to hear Carol. I couldn't hear what you said, Carol. Mbali, am I not losing you there?
No, say I can understand.
Okay, so this is what normally happens. Just in case, Carol, I couldn't hear you, but let me just assume that you did not understand. The reason why you don't understand is possibly because you missed those previous lessons where I started with the basics. So the best thing that you need to do, this is what I always encourage you guys to say, if you are in matric and you find something difficult, is because you missed the basics. You don't need to stress about that for now. Go back to the basics, study those, and then come back to this. That's when it's going to make sense. Then that's when you practice it more. And that's when it will sink in. So don't stress about trying to understand this, whereas when it's being explained now, it still doesn't make sense. It will make sense at some point, but you need to start at the starting point. Hey, before I forget, can you guys see that this thing, it's exactly the same as that. That is why I'm going to cancel that. And I'm not sure if you guys remember that when you have a square root and then you have a squared, it removes a square root. So you have an invisible one there, which is why you're going to say you have 1 over. So that the square root has been removed already. So that means you are only having 10. Here, someone might not understand when I say there is an invisible 2 there. when you have square root, just know you have that invisible 2. So it's more like you have an invisible 2 square root of 10 to the exponent negative 2. And this thing is the same as 10 to the exponent negative 2 over 2. Which 2 is which? This 2, it is that one. This sign, it is that one. This 2, it is that one. So obviously, 10 is 10. What is negative 2 over 2? That is negative 1. So that is why you end up having that. What is that? It is actually minus 10 to the exponent negative 1. I'm pretty much sure that someone also might not understand that. Reason to that, honorable members, it's because there might be something that you need to catch up on. And most importantly, as we continue, we are having 1 over 10 minus 10 to the exponent that. So remember, when you have something to the exponent negative 1, it is the same as 1 over 10. Then this is what you do. You remember when I said obviously it's over 1. Yesterday, I said you have something over something, a sign something over something, where I said you cross multiply and then you multiply those two. That's how you simplify that. And then from there, once it's simplified, you work it out with that one. So this one, I'll just leave it for you to easily work it out. But most importantly, I noticed that we are running out of time. But what I'm going to do now, it is to jump on to the next question paper. So let's quickly check that question that you guys wrote. Let's see, I think I'll need to scroll up. So there's also one last question which is remaining for this question paper, but this is how you work it out. I'll just give you guys a guidance of how you work it out. You're having that plus square root of 2x squared close squared minus square root of 8x squared. This thing, it means two of the same thing. That is your starting point. Then you'll say that by that by that by that by that. So once you do that, you end up having that lengthy thing. This one remains as it is. Then you work out the like terms. Once you've worked out the like terms, you will see, you might find that you have something that you can work it out with that. Then uzanayo, wazanayo, wazanayo, until you get to your final answer there. So just give it a try. In case if you fail, we'll revisit that. So those are some of those questions which it's unlikely that they will repeat. It's not a standard question. It comes in many different ways. So you should just expect anything. Just know that anything is possible. So I'm just going to remove all of that and check if you guys can be able to see that other question paper. Are you guys able to see the other question paper that I think if you scroll up, you scroll up in the group, where is that question paper? I think this is the question. Yes, this is, no. This one, I think we've done it. Oh, yes, we did, but we did that section on Sunday, and we were remaining with this one. Do you guys still remember that? This is what was remaining. Maybe let me quickly give you guys an opportunity to just scroll up and find that question. Just let me know if you're not able to find it. But otherwise, in that same group, scroll up and try to find that question paper. Let me know if you all find it. And also just confirm if this is what we didn't do the corrections. But I think we did not do the corrections of this one. So that means we are having that and that.
Only did question 1, you didn't do question 2.
Yes, it is for this same question paper, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's quickly run through that. So this is where you are given a 3 marks. Let's see. Remember, guys, here you don't have a sign of a plus or a minus in between. Then you know some things will be adding up. You just deal with the powers. No need for a common factor. Only if you had a sign in between, which was a plus or a minus, then you know you were going to somehow have to take out something as a common factor. But now that we don't have those, that means we are just going to be dealing with the powers. Let's see. We have a 2 to the exponent n plus 2 what is 4? Isn't 4 2 to the that? And then you are having that. You know, every time when you do this, I think it's Voishwa that I remember, where we say power to power. I'm just not sure if it's Voishwa or was it Larissa, but whoever it was, power to power simply means wherever there are brackets, that's your starting point. So that means this times that times. Can you see? You're just multiplying power by power. What is that power to power? That is 2. Someone made a mistake on this one, and this is what you did. You said 2, and then you did power to power. You said 3n, but here you forgot to multiply and you wrote 1. And then starting from this going down, the yellow thing as wrong. So can you guys see that we now have the same basis? All the bases are the same. So if they are the same, that means the basis at the top, you are going to add their exponents. So that means you have 3n plus, n plus 3. You just add that exponent as it is. Then these ones at the bottom, you subtract. Can you see? That is 3n. You write it as minus 3n. And then that is positive, negative 3. You write it as positive 3. So in short, it's more like when you are having these values, either all of them as the numerators, you just add the exponents. But if you still have the same power and this is at the bottom, you include them there, but you don't write them with their original signs. You change their original sign. If it's positive, you write it as negative. If it's negative, you write. So now let's work out the like terms. So I think we have 2n plus 2n, which is 3n. It cancels out with that. So that means those, they cancel each other out. So let's see. What is this plus that? I think that is 6. What is 6 plus 2? It's 6, 7, 8. So it's more like you're having 2 to the exponent 8. What is that when you punch it on a calculator? What is that? It's a big number. I can't remember that one. I'm sure I can't remember that one. So what is that, guys?
256.
256, but just wait for a moment. Let's quickly check if I've done a mistake. I don't really remember
On the second
when I was
step,
doing my memo.
you say
Yes.
3 instead of 2.
Where?
On the second step, 2 to the power of
Oh
n, you say plus 3.
yes. Yes. I remember I did a memo for this, but I didn't get that answer. So that means where else is that affect? I think also there. Thanks very much for noticing that, honorable member. So now it means we need to update our answer. So that means it becomes 2. No, this is 3 minus 3 plus 3, it's 6. Then wait. What Hanan there? This number, I'm now not able to see it. Maybe can you guys allow me to just erase all of that and make sure that I'm doing it. So now you are going to say n plus 2 being that 2 plus 2n plus that 2 there. Then you write those with their opposite sign. So you are having negative, what is it, 3n. This one with a positive sign, it becomes positive 3. So let's see, we are having n plus 2n it minus, so those cancel out. Then you are having 2 plus 2, which is 4, plus 3, which is 7. So now that means it's not 8 there, but it's 7. If it was 8 and I continued and I was in exam, then I was going to get wrong answers. So what is 2 to the exponent 7? What is that?
128.
128. Is it everyone who understands what I've just done over there?
Yes, sir. I do understand.
I got a confirmation from someone saying they understand.
I understand.
Okay. Maybe let's try this other one, which looks a bit complicated. It looks a bit complicated. I wonder if we're going to survive there. Let's see. Let me quickly get that question there. So we are having square root of x plus square root jiki square root ungathi kusasoshuba la awuthi sibone ukuthi u-examiner usiphetheleni namhlanje. Okay, this is what we have. Yes. Sure, Bantu Bakit, anyone who'd like to just start with a prayer there? Is there anyone who'd like to quickly give us a nice prayer regarding that?
already prayed, sir.
Zozo. Not that prayer. This one, the mass prayer, Mzozo. I need you know that one. We pray and pray and pray, and we still fail. And we know we fail because we pray but we don't practice. So anyone who can say something on that one? Maybe how about we try to assume something, Bantu Bakit. Hamisa, the moment you get to this stage, you can somehow maybe try to say, let's assume that to be whatever. You guys like to say the K method. I don't really regard that as the K method because I can say, since my name is Desmond, I would say let 2x minus 1 to be equals to D. But maybe let's stick to K so that we don't lose you guys. So that means this thing, it is actually the same as x plus what is it? K. Multiplying the square root of x minus K. I'm not sure if you guys actually understand what I have done over there. Does it make sense to everyone what I've done there?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
so why don't you put the K under the square root?
Why do I not put the K under the square root? Oh, okay. So it's because I did not say let 2x minus 1 to be equals to K. So if I let that, then I was going to have square root of x minus square root of K. But what I did, I said, let the whole of that having a square root be equals to K. So that is why I'm no longer having that. I'm not sure if we're taller manje, honorable member.
Yes, I get it.
So now, if you remember this, I've just explained that this thing, it is actually the same as that. It's a law or it's a rule. So it's more like you have that, which is that, and you have that, which is that. So now it's given in this format. You can still rewrite it in that format. This is where you just try some possible things, guys. But wait, let me just confirm. Do you guys have a lesson at 19:30? I don't think you do. Life sciences, it was, no, you don't. I think you're having your physics at 8 o'clock. So I quickly need to wrap up. I'm not sure if it's grade 11s who are having physical. Okay, let's see. So that means I can just have one square root where I'm having x plus that k and also x minus k there. I'm not sure if you guys are able to notice what I've done there. Mm. Do you guys notice what I've done there?
Yes,
It is
sir.
that law which says if you are having, let's say, a times square root of b is the same as just one being a and b. So it's given us this, I've written it as that. Why did I? Okay, the reason why I did that, maybe it's because I wanted to work out something. What is that? That by that by that by that. But the question is, with me doing all of that, where was I actually trying to achieve? Sure, it's a question. I wonder, why did I do that? What was the reason for me to do that? But maybe I wanted to say this times that. What exactly is that? I think it is x squared. What is that by that? It's negative xk. What is this times this? Is positive xk. What is that times that? It's negative k squared. Can you see that negative 1xk plus 1xk, they cancel each other out? Then maybe let me just remove them there. Remember, guys, this lesson is being recorded. You will still be able to rewatch it just in case if it seems like there are some steps that I'm missing. I'm not really missing, but I'm just removing those. So now that we have this thing, the moment you see squared there and you see squared there, you easily remember that this is possibly a, what is it, a perfect square. It's actually a perfect square. But I think now I just noticed something, guys. I just noticed something. If we actually set a square root of 2x minus 1 is equals to k, how about we remove that square root? If we remove it, how is that equation going to look like? Will it not look like 2x minus 1 is equals to, sorry, k squared? Why? Because you square this side and you also square that side. That means that's how you remove the square root. And then it ends up being that. The question is, why did I do that? This is the reason. I did it because I wanted to take kx squared, because I see it there, to just substitute it as that has x. So that means I'm actually going to have a x squared, which is that x squared, minus, I just substitute k squared, which is 2x minus 1. So this type of problems, guys, it's not really easy for you to work them out. This is where they are just testing to what extent you can think and apply the rules. So you only get to this stage once you've done a lot of math problems. So I won't really be worried if you did not get it correct, because I know it's still early for you to get it correct. You do that by that, you end up having negative that, and then you end up having a positive one there. Guys, are you sure that we can't factorize this thing? I'm not sure if you guys are able to notice that. To factorize this, it's easier. You're having xx there, you're having 1 there. To have that, that's if you have minus and you also have a minus there. Do you guys agree with me that this is how you factorize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but do you notice that these two things are exactly the same? If that is the case, that means this is actually the same as x minus 1 squared. That is the same thing. Remember, sometimes they give it to you this way, or it's given that way, or you substitute it and you need to write it that way. Sometimes in maths, you need to write it in reverse. That is why I make sure that I try to solve as many maths problems so that you are able to notice how you work those out. If you remember, guys, I did say if you have square root of something to the exponent of 2, this is just this squared removes that square root. That means you remain with a. So that means this squared actually removes with that square root. Cancel that square root. Then you're just remaining with x minus 1. Sure. This question was a bit complicated. I doubt all of you guys understood what I've done, but I'm telling you, don't stress that much about that. Just make sure that you start where we started and you do more of maths problems. You will understand it better. And you imagine this question is being asked in grade 11. Imagine how it will look like in grade 12. But we've just done it and it was easy in grade 12. But you also need to do this type of problems that you left in grade 11 so that you are exposed. So maybe I will just do that other one which might look a bit difficult. I'll skip those two, then we'll be done for our lesson for today, or we'll be done with our corrections. So this question, it was allocated for marks. With you, I think here, if you have done it correctly, you will just be scoring marks, Pantubakit, especially this part. It really deserves mark. And also that one. And this one I'm going to give you a mark. But in most cases, if you have followed mathematical procedure and you end up getting there, they will allocate you marks. There are multiple ways of solving that problem. So I won't even say where did I lose you, because I'm just suspecting that this was a bit tricky. So I will just leave it as it is. Maybe let me just take a screenshot there, just in case if someone says they missed all of that. So guys, just test if you are able to take a screenshot, and if it works, then you know, as I do corrections, if you don't want to be writing but you just want to listen, you just refer to screenshots. Yes, that is the question, honorable member.
So what if I did it in another way and got the same answer?
Yes, if you did it a different way and you got the same answer, you will score some marks somewhere, as long as you followed a mathematical procedure and you did not guess. So we just check the process that you followed. You won't get it right without following math procedure. So if you got it correct, allocate yourself full marks if you have used a different method. Is that fine, honorable member?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, this one says calculate the sum of the digits of that problem there. So I'm not really that much concerned about that part of the sum. I just want to show you how you work out this type of a problem where you are dealing with big exponents. So let's see How about we try to somehow work out this to make it the same as that? How can you possibly do? What if you say 2 to the exponent 2015 multiply? What if you say, how can you do that power to be that? You will obviously say 5 to the exponent 2015. Can someone guess what am I going to have there?
5 to the power 4.
Yes. Yes. Because same basis, you add the exponents, it takes you back to that. So now let's see. I think, can you guys see that we've got a common factor? No, not a common factor, but we're having the same power there. Let's try to rewrite it in reverse. In reverse, it's going to be 2 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 5, and then you close, and then you say 2015. This one, I think we can just write it as it is. Is it a question coming through?
Yes, there. I don't understand.
Is
Where is that 5 to the power 4 coming from?
wait, who's speaking there? Tembelihle, you saying which part did you not understand? Where 5 to 4? Are you talking about that one?
No, sir.
This one?
No, where it says 2 to the power 2015 times by 5 to the power 2015 times by 4 times by 5 to the power 4.
Okay, so if you remember, there's a law. For example, if you say a to the exponent of 4, this thing, you can still write it as a to the exponent 2 times a to the exponent 2. It's still the same. Even if it's y to the exponent 5, you can write it as y to the exponent 2 times y to the exponent 3. So we just separated this 2019 to make it 2015 and 4. Because we know the law says when you have the same basis, you add the exponents. If you add that and that, it takes you back to 2019. Does it make sense now, honorable member? Is it Tembelihle speaking? I hope it makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, what is this? What is that when you punch it on a calculator? Guys, what is this? Okay, I'll punch it 5 to the exponent of 4 is 625. This is what I'm getting. 625. Yes. What is 2 times 5? No, that one is easy. 2 times 5, it is 10. So that means you're having 10 to the exponent 2015. I'm telling you guys, what this number says, it's actually 625. This is a time. So it's more like times 10 to the exponent 2015. So this thing, in short, it's more like you're having 625, and you are having so many zeros. So many zeros. How many zeros are you going to have? You're going to have a 2015 zeros. That is why I'm too lazy to be writing all of those zeros, and I'll just do dots and say you are going to have 2015 zero. Just like if you have 4 times 10 to the exponent 2, this thing is 4 and how many zeros? Is it not going to be 2 zeros? It's going to be 2 zeros. You can punch it on a calculator. That's how I know that when you have a number times 10 to the exponent whatever, then it means it is those so many zeros. So what the question says when they say calculate the sum of the digits of above, they just want you to add 6, you add it with 2, you add it with 5. What are you getting there? Is it 13? I think it's 13. That's all they wanted you to do for that question. But before you can worry about this last part, the question is, can you easily be able to approach that and rearrange it in that format? That is the tricky part. So that is why Bantu Bagiti, Hamisa, you are in grade 12. This is a grade 11 question paper. You tell me, did you get some value out of this grade 10 what is it, grade 11 question paper. Is there something new that you've learned? Anyone who's grade 11 in grade 12? Yes. Anyone who's in grade 12, is there something new that you've learned out of this question paper of grade 11? Yebo noma cha?
I cannot say I learned something new, but at least I know how to approach it better. That's all I can say.
A very fair response. I do understand why you would say that, Hami. So, can someone say something on behalf of other honorable members? Then we close our lesson for today. I'm just not sure if there's something that I wanted to mention in this lesson, guys. I'm really, really not sure. But I'm about to close out, guys. Do you guys allow me to sign out? Because there's a lesson coming for grade 11s.
Yes, sir.
But say, I'm not
Yebo,
getting level 0 abaningi.
abo zero ban
I'm not getting.
mawuyenzani mawuyishaya on the calculator.
Yes, sir.
Yes, angeke wathole mzozo ngoba le number le inkulu. Imagine a calculator having to read 625 nabo zero ba 2000 015. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much, Mzozo. I'm sure that there's so many zeros, Mzozo. It could be a distance of someone moving from their home going to buy bread at their nearest spaza shop. So you can imagine how many zeros are those. 2000 sure. Hey, Mzozo, can you feel it, honorable member? Am I the only one who's feeling that 2015 Mzozo? Abo zero baningi. Guys, I do thank you very much for joining. I will see you tomorrow. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.